we're getting married in 2 months. This is my mom's wedding dress, and I do think it's quite lovely, but I tried it on at the seamstresses, and I just did not feel good about myself in it, so I thought I could probably make one. Oh yeah, and then this is my grandmother's wedding slip, and I also like it, but when I wear it, there's something weird going on here, and she said she couldn't fix it, and I don't know how we would fix it, and it's like doesn't really scream like super formal. It just kind of like...
Yeah, it's a different vibe. I'm wearing my mom's wedding dress, and it does scream formal. A lot of people's, mom's wedding dress might not be like the style that they want, but my mom's wedding dress, I feel like it's pretty much exactly what I'm looking for, and then I don't have to like make any decisions.
Okay, so I thought I would make one, and here are the fabrics that I bought. This is just cotton.
It's an off-white or very close to white.
100% cotton. I think it's called ivory or something. I don't know. I'm really sensitive about natural materials. I thought I would get cotton instead of like a polyester satin or whatever it is. So this is actually polyester, but it's not going to touch my skin. And I'm going to put this on top of it.
And it has sequins on it, but it's hard to see, but it's, I don't know, maybe you can see it. It's sparkly.
Yeah, this is going to be underneath it. This is going to be on top.
So it's like that.
When I was buying this fabric, the lady at the counter who was cutting it for me, 7 meters of fabric, which is quite expensive, she looked at me and she said, "What are you making?" And I said, "A wedding dress." And she said, "Are you sure? It's pretty off-white. It's going to look like the second or third time someone's worn it." And I was like, okay. Also, as she's snipping off like the end of the fabric that I'm about to pay like $100 for, maybe just like keep that opinion to yourself, because it's non-returnable as soon as you cut it.
Yeah. Anyway, like we're gonna make a complete bodice out of this material using this method so that we can see if we like it. So it's gonna be kind of like a mock-up, but also like we want it to be complete and we want Chloe to be able to wear it around.
I couldn't find a pattern that I liked on Etsy. And I looked extensively.
Right now, if you look up patterns, Etsy is absolutely filled to the brim with AI-generated patterns and AI-generated images.
And they don't have anyone who's actually made them. So I don't know if they're any good. They're probably crap.
Clogging the system.
Yeah, so we're going to do the good old plastic wrap around the torso and then tape it up. And usually people use duct tape, but we don't have any. And I watched one YouTube video where this woman used masking tape. So I think it's a fair bet. And then, you slather it on, draw some lines, cut it, and then those are your pattern pieces.
Yeah.
And it should fit me because it came off me.
Yeah.
That's the idea. All right. I don't know why you wanted to do such a small piece to start.
Well, because you told me not to wrap it around.
Oh, I was meaning with the duct tape.
Oh, okay.
I can tell this is not a natural material. We're thinking about doing a corset back, like a lace at back, so there's going to be a lot of flexibility, I think, with the fit, which is good for user error. I think the idea is that you don't want to corset yourself in.
Okay. Why is this so fun already?
Did you find a Sharpie?
I forgot to look for one.
Now, the thing is, we just need to find a Sharpie. That is not a Sharpie. Alright, go on a quest. I can't be seen like this. No, go get me a Sharpie. Thank you. Do we want to try to replicate this? Do you think that's going to be nice to have a thick strap? Or do you think a little thin strap will be better? Yeah, do you think that this is a good thing to replicate, this?
I think it's pretty stinky cute.
Me too. Okay, so viewer, I'm looking at this, which is a dress that you can purchase from Etsy. It's very hard to see, but the seam is
like
here,
goes up with the strap.
It's one panel that has the strap included, and I also want to make sheer sleeves not like this. They're gonna be full length and bell, but like attaching it in a bit of a similar
You should
way.
show your little,
So, the green is the underneath white fabric, the cotton that I showed. And then the pink is the lacy fabric. So I'm thinking big bell sleeves. The lace is going to go over all of it, and it's going to be a little bit bigger of a skirt, not as attached on the bottom. Yeah, that's the idea. And there are sleeves. I've drawn them spaghetti, but I think that they're going to be thicker. Are you thinking this is where the neckline is going to go right here?
yeah, do you want it lower?
See, the thing is, I don't have a mirror, so I can't see.
Okay, why don't you go look in the mirror?
Okay, we made some decisions in the mirror.
Sorry about abandoning you guys like this. Or we can have a side panel.
Right now is the side panel. How big is it? Let me look in the mirror again. Hang on.
Okay. Whew. This is harder than I thought it would be.
Oh, wait.
What? Oh gosh, so scary.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
We do that so that we can figure out how to make them line up. Excellent. Cut me out. Ta-da! We only used half of the template because we needed it to be symmetrical. So we chose the prettier half and then cut it out, adding seam allowance onto our fabric.
Oh my gosh, am I just a little baby? Am I just a little baby cat? Oh yes I am.
This actually went very smoothly and all of the pieces fit together as intended because they fit together originally. We did have to do a little bit of stretching and squishing because we're making flat pattern pieces into a three-dimensional shape, but it ended up working really well. And before too long, Natalie was sewing, but first she had to remember how sewing machines work. This was a very long process. This mock-up was actually the first dress that Natalie or I had ever sewn in our lives. We both had done some hand sewing before. We had hand sewed a blouse before this, and Natalie had just finished machine sewing a blouse for her sister. But as for dresses, this was the first. And what better way to start than with the dress you're gonna look at the most pictures of probably for your entire life.
I just did these three. What do you think? Do you think it looks good?
I think it's cute. What do you think?
I love you.
Well, I love you too.
It's like, oh my god, thank you for putting this piece of recycling here so that I can sit on it. Now that I've made these channels, I'm going to take the zip ties out. I'm going to line these up perfectly and I'm going to sew it all together. And then I'm going to cut the zip ties to length and slide them in. Lighting's terrible, audio's bad. Ignore the fact that Chloe's wearing pajamas underneath it. Look at this.
I mean, this isn't attached yet, but like
the fit, you know, the silhouette.
it's cute. And then like ignore this. This isn't going to be wedding dress material, but we are making it so this will be a wearable dress. And
Yeah, this is just the mock-up, but we make wearable mock-ups in this house. We take fabric we don't like. We make a mock-up. We've had this fabric for years.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, this is a little bit of a curve, and we could make it a little bit more of a straight.
Yeah, so we'd alter the pattern to, like, make this go.
Yeah, but I also don't even,
straight
like,
down.
I think it's really cute for something that we literally threw together today.
Oh, and we don't have boning channels there. Yeah, so we need to add those.
And then attach the skirt, obviously.
And then attach the skirt.
And put in a zipper for the skirt. Then Natalie attached the skirt, which took a few tries, but thanks to the powers of movie magic, it'll only take a few seconds.
I've got a really quick update on the dress. Chloe's away, and so I'm finishing this up by myself. I'm coming with her. We're going to an island, but she's already on the island. I want to go with her, and I want to show up wearing this dress as like a little surprise. The things that I've done without you is the gathering of the skirt didn't really work, and it was frustrating. So I ended up pleating it. And I just did a pretty lazy pleat because it was going to be gathered, and it doesn't really matter to me or to her, to anyone. This is awkward. The center of the pleats is here. The center of the dress is here. I thought I did that right. Alas, I didn't. I didn't do it right. Anyway, so things I need to do. I need to make a cord for the back, and I need to learn how to use a zipper foot. Only problem is Chloe bought a zipper foot on Amazon, and it arrived, and now she's gone, and I don't know which zipper foot she bought, so I can't find any explanation. Okay, I'll pick you up. I can't find any explanation to figure out how to use this particular zipper foot. And that's basically all that's happened. So let's figure out how to use the zipper foot. Okay, I forgot to film it, but I did it. I made the tie. I couldn't figure out how to sew it with the foot, so I sewed the zipper on by hand, and it fits. I mean, it doesn't fit me perfectly because it was made on Chloe's body, but I'm gonna make her try it on because I'm gonna wear it to visit her, and she's on the island, and I'm gonna go visit her on the island wearing this dress, and she's gonna be like, oh my god, you're so cute. That's what she's gonna be like.
It's done. Well, you know, it's the mock-up, but I think it looks really cute. So some things we've learned that we want to take into the next project. The boning, it just zip ties, and it's quite sharp actually. It's a little bit bothersome. So we really need to make sure we're curving those edges. The back here, I like how it does up, but this cording is not long enough for me to get it on comfortably, and it also doesn't cinch tight enough the way that it is. So right now, I don't know how big this is, like maybe 2 inches. I would like it to be maybe more like 4 with the loops coming in to about here. And then this whole bit is just able to be cinched, concealing this part of the waistband a little bit because you're gonna probably see more of it. The other thing that we found is that it was difficult to make this kind of an even line here. So we're gonna work harder on like maybe wrapping a piece of ribbon around me, marking it with chalk, and then like really hitting this right at my natural waist. Pockets. I actually don't have that much time to work on it, so I think we're gonna be doing some hand sewing while we're on Whimsy this coming weekend for our little trip on Vancouver Island. And then when we come back, I'll sew the circle skirt with the sewing machine because it's way bigger, and assemble everything up, and hopefully we'll be in good shape because the wedding is in like a month and a half, so gotta get going on all the wedding things. All right, let's cut this out. Then I marked out some large seam allowance to account for boning channels and cut out those same fabric pieces, but this time on the wedding dress fabric. Beverly is very excited to be invited because she was driving me crazy, so she was not invited up until right now. So I finished cutting out and marking up the pieces for the lining, and I'm just gonna sew that together real quick and make sure that it looks right and I didn't mess anything up, and then I'll be back to the cutting board for the outer fabrics because I'm going to baste the lace fabric with the outer white cotton. All right, that's the plan, and Beverly would like to say hello. Say hi, Bev. She's so bad when I'm sewing, but she missed me. All right, let's get that done. On to sewing. Whoosh. Then I pinned them together and sewed them up just like with the mock-up, except this time I was trying to be really careful and not have to stitch pick anything because I was finding that this fabric really showed needle marks. Okay, it's made. I'm gonna go see if it looks like it's gonna fit. Yeah, so far so good. Let's do it. And now please enjoy the sweet sounds of our fabric shears cutting the fabric. I also made sure to mark all of the stitch lines. Then I repeated the same process on the outer fabric that is sheer and meshy and wriggly and kind of hard to do anything to, especially draw lines on. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just basting my lacy fabric onto the outer layer of the white cotton so that they act as one piece and I don't have to treat them differently. And then pinning that all together as if it were just one piece of fabric. Then we were off in Whimsy, our bus, for a lovely 5 days before I started my job again. This is our campsite, and there's me sewing away. It was taking a lot longer than I remembered sewing taking because I haven't actually hand sewed since we've been doing so much machine sewing.
So dirty now. We're gonna have to brush you off. Here, come up here.
I'm just doing a simple hand back stitch, and I'm using a really heavy duty thread for it. The campsite we stayed at was absolutely beautiful. This is Cowichan Lake, and our campsite was pretty close by, so we could go for long swims and also just watch the sunset. This is the last trip we were able to take on Whimsy before our honeymoon, which is actually what the next video is going to be about. Then it rained for a few days, so here I am sewing inside the bus. The rain in Vancouver or near Vancouver is just so beautiful, and all of the trees are so happy and all of the foliage is so happy. And we've been having forest fires like we do every summer, so it's always nice when it rains in July. We ended up playing a lot of games with Beverly. She kind of hates it when we play games. She just wants us to pay attention to her. But we spend some time doing that, spend some time swimming, spend some time just spending time with each other. And then it was back to the grind of wedding planning and to our jobs. This lake was so beautiful to swim in. The water, you can't really tell here because it was overcast, but it's very turquoise, super idyllic, and it's quite shallow all the way there, so you can have fun mermaid swimming. And we both brought goggles, which made it extra fun. And here I am sewing up the boning channels and just testing to make sure that my zip ties fit where they're intended to. And then I keep going. I didn't know how many boning channels to put, so I put one on every seam. And I think it helped give the bodice a really structured look. So I'm pleased that I did that. Then I ironed them and placed them right sides together. And this is me showing you that I bought ribbon for the lace up, but it's too orange. It was almost like creamsicle, so we couldn't use that. I ended up ordering another one that was too white, not off-white enough, but I just used that one because I didn't have time to order another one at that point. Okay, so we have returned from our voyage in Whimsy, our bus, to Cowichan Lake, and I did some sewing while I was there, and then I did some last night, but honestly, getting back to work and having this wedding to plan has been pretty crazy, so I haven't done that much, but I'm hoping to get a lot done today because I have the day off. So, this is what we're looking at here. I have the right sides pinned together, and here you can probably also see that I've done boning channels. That'll all be hidden inside all of this. All of these edges will be hidden, but I am going to sew around the top here, around the sleeves, around the neck, around the sleeve, around here, and I'm not going to sew the bottom, obviously, because that's where I'll attach the skirt. And I'm also not going to sew the edges because I need to make for the loops, for the ribbon to be fed through eventually. So I'm not going to do that yet because I need to use my big brain to think about that a little bit more, but I am going to sew all the way around the outside. I've done some research about circle skirts too, and I think I'm going to do one big panel or a half circle for the front, and then I'm going to do 2 panels, 2 quarter circles in the back so that I can do a zipper down the back. And I have this idea of doing pockets along the side seam, but I need to decide whether or not I think that's too ambitious, because this is just going to be a wedding dress, so I don't really need to have my phone on me or anything. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'll decide before I get to that. So today's game plan is to finish up the outside edge to make the ribbons, and then to do the calculations to make a circle skirt, and probably like write out my pattern. I don't think I'll actually draft a pattern because I've heard it's not really necessary, but I'll figure out how much fabric I have and what size pieces I can make, and maybe cut them out if I have time, but I'm not sure that I will because there's a lot to get done today, and sewing always takes way longer than I think. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. Listen, these boning channels that are on the center back seam so that the lace-up backing doesn't kind of scrunkle in on itself. Yeah, they can't be like that. I need to unpick them, because how am I supposed to attach these 2 layers together, the outside layer and the lining layer? How am I supposed to attach these together when this boning channel is here? So I need to unpick this and then flatten this out and then actually sew down the right spot and then make a boning channel, maybe with top stitching, and maybe I'm gonna have to do it by hand. So we're working on that, and I'll see you after I'm done top stitching for 10 million years. And I wasn't exaggerating about the stitch ripping. It took ages of my life, so long that it is now the next day. Here I am trying to explain about circle skirts. Let's say that your waist is a circumference measurement. So my waist measurement is 75.5 centimeters, and you need to find the radius measurement. So from the center point of the circle to the edge. And this is the equation that they give you in a math class, is C equals 2 pi r. But for those of us less mathematically inclined, we can also think of it as the radius is your waist measurement divided by 6.28. So mine was 12 centimeters. And once we knew that, we were able to say that there should be 12 centimeters from the top corner of the fabric down in a perfect line, swooping in a circular motion to 12 centimeters, and then from the 12 centimeter mark you get to decide how long you want your skirt to be. I thought it was going to be 104, but I actually only had enough for 100 centimeters, I believe, maybe 104. I can't remember exactly what I did, but I didn't have quite enough fabric for what I wanted, but it still ended up working out well. Markers that I'm using that are good for glass. Guess what isn't glass? A washing machine, and I stained it. Natalie had to help me take it off because she's the big guns that I always call in when I make a mistake.
It's not that stupid, babe. This stuff is like water soluble, and it just seems like it would come off, right?
Then it was finally time to cut out the circle skirt, and all of the measurements and math that I did somehow worked out against all odds, and it's a functional garment. The one thing that you shouldn't forget to do is to add seam allowance at the waist, and I almost forgot to do that. That's a good swoosh.
I think it'll work, lover.
Then we just traced it, folded in half, and cut out the 2 back pieces. Beverly was very helpful, of course. Then it came time to cut out the lacy fabric, and we noticed that it was larger than the cotton fabric, so there was room for a train, and we decided we would see later whether or not we wanted to keep it. Then I marked out a pattern for pockets, and I really like the skirt pockets, so I tried to trace that almost exactly because it attaches into the waistband, which I really liked. Then here Natalie is attaching the skirt to the bodice. Are you helping? She's not helping. So it's been like weeks, and we're now getting married
In a month.
less.
In less than a month.
In like 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks.
So other things took priority. We got the wedding dress to be like 95% done, and then just gave up. What's left is the hem, and we also sewed up the side seams really nicely with open just an open frayed edges on the inside. And it would be nice if those were covered on the skirt. And I wish we had have done French seams, because if you can see behind me, those are our reception dresses. And we did just a nice, beautiful French seam with pocket in these, and it wasn't even that hard. And, you know, hindsight is 20/20, as they say. Anywho, so we need to finish up the raw edges on the inside, do the hem, and then it's done. Should I'm just thinking, actually, should I put it on now, or since it's so close, should I save it for, like, the grand reveal? Or does the grand reveal not matter in this case?
Let's save it for the grand reveal,
okay.
And let's get started.
The other thing we got, I don't know if I mentioned this already, this is the petticoat that I'm going to wear underneath it to make me look like a princess fairy. This is a crown that my grandmother wore at her wedding. How cute. And I will wear it too.
And I bought myself a crown off Etsy.
But you're wearing your mom's dress, so that makes sense.
Yeah, my crown is something new, you know? If she's out something new, something blue, something borrowed, something old.
You said that rhyme in the wrong order, but I think you got all the points.
One eternity later.
Let's go! Another thing is we've left the option for a train. I need to figure out how to make that look good. So that's another. Now here I am hand sewing all of those nasty edges down to try to hide them. And this took so long, oh boy. And quickly we just turned to the good old fashioned zigzag stitch. Then we evened out the bottom of the dress to make sure it was all sitting nice and flat, and folded over and sewed down a micro hem. Then I found all of this trim on the edge of that lace fabric, and I decided, wouldn't it be nice to meticulously hand sew it along the bottom of the dress? So Natalie and I did that probably for 3 or 4 evenings in a row. It took so long, but I think it is such a cute detail, and it really elevates the whole thing, even though I don't think any of the videos that I took of the after really capture it. We're watching Dropout's new show in bed because they're like 3-hour episodes, and that's what you need sometimes. Our wedding day was so magical. It was raining while we were taking the photos and all the way up until like 10 minutes before the ceremony, which was just perfect timing. The back of my dress, the train, got a little bit muddy. You can kind of see it there. Anyway, I felt so beautiful in my dress. It was exactly how I wanted. I didn't end up doing sleeves because the fabric was quite itchy on me, and I just kind of ran out of time. And I didn't end up doing a veil either because at my bachelorette party I wore a veil and it was really uncomfortable. I did do the pockets, and I'm so happy I did because these are Natalie and I's vows that we had at the wedding ceremony, and I was able to just pull those out, which was super sweet. Natalie's mom's speech that she gave when she was marrying us, she mentioned that I made the dress myself, and I got so many compliments from so many lovely people on it. So that was just a really nice thing that happened, and I felt like everyone was being super genuine. So I'm so pleased, and the day was so magical, and I will remember it forever. And next video is our honeymoon that we just got back from on the Sunshine Coast, so stay tuned for that.
I got them fully in my face.
Ha 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 ha!